awesome. Thank you so much.
But they just didn't really grasp to it because it was what everybody was teaching. And I was talking about this stuff, and people knew they needed it. On the classic line.
You've seen the news and you see the thumbnail. Again, I don't know why these actors think that they have some special connection to elite substances. No one is. No one's connected to anything elite anymore. And unfortunately, people don't like diagnose that these people need therapy going into these genres. Method acting is what took out Keith Ledger. Now, I'm not saying method acting took him out here. Everyone has enough personal demons in a day, in a life, that it could be anything else. But again, he was slighted to be picked for a DMX biopic, right? And I think, playing The Wire, no matter how many other roles he played in, everybody would go, oh, that's the dude from The Wire, And he even said in an interview that he used to do modeling and dancing, right? But it wasn't until he got the scar on his face, of course, they didn't want him to dance anymore. They saw him for these roles, these thuggish roles. Now, again, I loved him in Lovecraft, but he played a conflicted actor with a conflicted past, traumatic past. And again, these things take a toll on you no matter who you are, no matter who you pretend to be or who you think afterwards. Now, he said in an interview recently, I think it was last year, that it's not about just making it out of the hood, but also being welcomed back. And I think that's part of the problem. We want to be welcomed back to situations we've outgrown, environments we've outgrown, people we've outgrown. That just doesn't work. And unfortunately, being welcomed back, what does that look like? Why are we rejoicing to that, right? The prodigal son is never, the prodigal in his own hometown, right? You have to leave and become something else. And this is part of, I'll do a separate video on it, but like when people leave their hometown and really go out on alone and make something for themselves, that should be rejoiced in itself. Even when you talk about actors leaving their hometowns, Tyler P. Henson, and a lot of these people where people just said, oh man, that's never going to work. You're never going to make it. You're too old, too young, too this, too that, whatever, right? To go to Hollywood and do this, and they actually make it. That should be applauded by itself, right? These people want to do a triumphant return back to the hood. For why? For who? This hood validation, this obsession with being validated by these peers that you no longer even see. I won't lie. I'm also a victim of that at times where I want people to see these great accomplishments. And you have to understand, everybody isn't given the same vision as you. They may not go with you. And so when people ask me, Erica, what do you do when your friends and family don't support your dream or support your decision? You have to associate with new people. Point blank, period. New events, new conferences, new seminars. A lot of these events you're going to have to start partaking in because you need to be in a different headspace, in a different environment. A lot of folks want to stay in the same environment, have new ideals, new thought patterns, and new money. That does not mix. I can't remember the exact Bible verse, but I think it's like new wine in an old oil bag, because they used to use wine sacks that were leather, right? Particular leather, a particular kind of fabric. And so if you try to put new wine in them, they'll just burst, right? Because they had this already comfortable condition with the old wine, right? Where they expanded, they grew to a certain level, and that wine was delicious, right? But if you try to use them again, it doesn't work. So it's like, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like a man and a river are never the same, right? Because as the man crosses back in the river, it's a different river. And also the man's different. So a lot of times when I see these actors and things like this happening, I'm not going to say I'm not surprised. I'm just going to say it's unfortunate, right? There were several people right before the Rio Olympics that got buried in the news, but several people were caught in houses and party environments in Rio and died, and it was Americans. And people were like, whoa, what's going on there in Rio? And that news went away. Something I heard Diamond Dave say on his channel, and I believe it. People want to be comfortable enough to have just enough money, have sex with who they want, do drugs, and goof off. And the only time you hear all this complaining and groaning and moaning in our society and online is when these people get to a certain age and they can't do those things anymore. They can't attract the same women or the same men. They can't attract the same party. I remember even when Anna Bay on the School of Excellence was like, there's a thing called jet set life, and it's from 18 to 25, and after that, honey, you're retired. You're too old for that. You no longer can win in that race, right? And so, you know, I mean, I've just seen people say, well, this person can't love you like a young person can, and it's almost like a sad person begging for this young years that they no longer are in. Point blank period. So again, now he's 54. I'm not trying to be antagonistic in this video. And the comedian was in his 40s. There was also another comedian that died not of drugs, so I didn't put him in the thumbnail. He just straight up had a heart attack, right? People aren't living to be 95 years old every day. There's countless stories where people have passed away before their time, as we like to say it. But this was his time, right? He was this magnificent actor who made a bad decision. And this bad decision just cost him his life. And so a lot of times what people don't understand is everybody's fighting battles. They're fighting some type of battle. So they always say, you know, be kind to people because you don't know what battle they're fighting. But really, you know, the battlefield is for the mind. Joyce Meyer wrote this book, and I mean, it basically, you know, more than her preaching, more than her going all around the world, more than her charity work, that book, Battlefield of the Mind, right, is like a bestseller. And Peter put it on the screen here. The book, Battlefield of the Mind, Joyce Meyer. Bestseller, because that's where the battle is. And I think, you know, a lot of people used to think a lot of this stuff is new age. But what you realize is a lot of people are fighting these old battles, mad at their parents, and they're in their 50s. Their parents done been dead. They mad at their siblings. The siblings are grown and gone on with their own families. And you really have to understand that, like, this LA, Hollywood culture that they're fighting for, it's not even exist anymore. It don't even exist anymore. It really doesn't, right? Hollywood ain't got the juice since Girls Trip, right? They're doing nothing but reboots in Hollywood because they're out of creative ideals, because they won't let new blood in, so they can't have new ideals come out. So you're fighting for this old Hollywood of parties and recognition and admiration of people that can't even do anything for you. So again, I didn't want to go too heavy on this video because I know some of you are going to be like, Erica, you know, people, you got to let off people. You're going to make this a point. And I'm like, but that's just it. These are all teachable moments. Every single one of these things are teachable moments. Nas has that song, you came to sing and they came to do drugs, right? The comedian came to be funny. And again, comedians right now, there's just no excuse for this. Comedians are making a killing right now because people have been cooped up in the house. So people are doing these in-person shows and they're selling out. You know, again, that's, you name it, Tony Baker, gosh, all these people are doing little shows. Kev on Stage, they're doing a worldwide tour. They're doing multiple cities, multiple locations, multiple days in the same city, selling out. So there's no reason for this comedian to be spending his time doing drugs and he's not booking shows and he's not Country Wayne making $300,000 a month off Facebook skits. The money's out there. So really, it's not the money. It's not the platform. The platforms are out here. The access is out here. It's really the battle in the mind. So it's unfortunate he passed, but that's all my comments on this. I'm still recovering. So you guys, if you see pictures from me laid up, that's what I'm doing right now. I don't have what you think I have. For those of you who are going to complain and say that, but definitely recovering. Sorry, you guys. This is your girl, Erica. Later.